Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk with Dr. Alan Featherstone, the head of the Ag Economics Department at K-State. As many have experienced, it's been a roller coaster ride if you've been involved in production agriculture the last few years. We'll talk about that. We also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission and Kansas Department of Agriculture, plus the weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, KFB.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
In agricultural news from agview.net, a proposal from the EPA would streamline the regulation of certain plant-incorporated protectants. The proposal allows biotech crops containing pesticide traits to be exempt from select regulation if they meet criteria of reporting requirements. Specifically, the EPA proposes exemptions under the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act and the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act for certain plant-incorporated protectants created through the use of biotechnology. The agency has preliminarily determined that the substances meeting the exemption criteria have no risks of concerns to humans or the environment. Now, under this proposed exemption, the EPA would require developers of the biotech crops to submit either a self-determination letter or request for the EPA confirmation that their product meets the exemption criteria. EPA Administrator Andrew Wheeler said the new rule will provide critical new tools for America's farmers as they work to increase agricultural productivity. The proposal, part of President Trump's executive order for modernizing the regulatory framework for agricultural biotechnology products. Well, USDA has also posted a final rule in the Federal Register implementing mandatory changes to farm program eligibility and payment limitations that was outlined in the 2018 Farm Bill. The rule expands the definition of family members to include first cousins, nieces, and nephews, but does require anyone trying to qualify for federal subsidies as a farm manager to comply with the rules that have previously applied only to general partners. Those seeking payments must now provide either 25% of a farm's total management hours on an annual basis or perform at least 500 hours of management annually. While this program has some potential to prevent some from exploiting the system by routing payments through relatives who are not active on the farm operation, it could also inhibit some smaller multi-generation farms who have too many active family members for any of them to meet the program requirements. You can find more on these and other stories at agview.net. Stay with us. More coming up.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
And our guest is Dr. Alan Featherstone, who is the Department Head of Agriculture Economics at Kansas State University. And he was one of the presenters at the recent virtual annual Risk Profit Conference that takes place normally on the K-State campus. But this year we kind of did it on the web, and I believe turned out really well. But Dr. Featherstone, your topic, dealing with the ag finance situation as you do kind of every year, and the overlying theme for the Risk Profit this year was the economics of agriculture during this COVID-19. And I think when we look at it from what you were able to look and disseminate to folks, this has definitely brought a challenge, and we'll know later exactly what 2020 is. But looking back, it's been quite a ride, if you will, when it comes to how the world of agriculture finance has been operating the last few years.
Yes, it really has, Ken, been a roller coaster in terms of in 2014, we had net farm income of $138,000. 1 year later, it dropped to about 14,000. And then since 2015, we've been gradually going up in terms of our net farm income. We ended up in 2019 of 120,479. And so certainly the farm incomes have been up, then down, and then gradually increasing. But we did have a pretty good year in 2019, and certainly I think that will be helpful for producers as they look at struggling through 2020, and hopefully we'll see a better 2021.
Well, I'm sure as you look at the numbers, and you talked about that roller coaster ride of farm incomes, it seemed like it wasn't that many years ago that we thought we hit a new plateau with commodity prices, but that didn't last too long. But one of the things, though, that's happened this year and, of course, last year is, I guess, more government intervention, if you will, with government payments, the likes that I don't know if anybody saw, but that really kind of helped kind of buoy up where we are with those income numbers. So I won't necessarily say they're inflated, but it's something that was definitely unexpected.
Yeah, certainly the government program payments have increased drastically from 2017 to 2019. Tracing about 500 farms, the average government payment was $27,000 in 2017. It increased with the advent of the FP1 program to $41,000 in 2018. And then with MFP payments, 2 payments in 2019, the government program payments increased to $90,000. And they went from 37% of net farm income to 75% of net farm income in 2019. As we look into 2020, there really hasn't been any MFP payments announced for the 2020 year. There certainly had been the CPAF payments that have been announced. If you look at the way they were in terms of crop farms, they were for inventory that was produced but not sold in 2019. And so in some respects, they were just used to shore up that 120,000 that so those incomes wouldn't drop on an accrual basis from 2019. If you look at the livestock farms, essentially most of those payments ended on production through May or the middle of May. And so certainly the crop farms are exposed for the whole year, and the livestock farms are exposed for 2/3 of the year. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty in terms of where 2020 is going to be from where we were in 2019.
Dr. Alan Featherstone is our guest. He is the Department Head of Ag Economics at K-State. Let's take a break, come back with more in just a moment.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com, and agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
And Dr. Alan Featherstone, the head of the Agriculture Economics Department of K-State, is our guest this week. And Dr. Featherstone, as we look at the kind of ag finance situation, we have a lot of numbers to dissect and piece together. But maybe let's talk about where these farms that you've been kind of following are from a liquidity standpoint, or from the ability maybe to be in a position to weather some of these storms.
Yeah, one of the measures that lenders often look at is the debt to asset ratio, and then they'll also look at a liquidity ratio to kind of get a feel. From a leverage perspective, we're in a pretty good shape at the end of 2019 in terms of, there's usually two cutoffs that lenders like to look at. One is the debt to asset ratio being over 70%. They view those farms as being vulnerable, and those with kind of that debt to asset ratio in that 40 to 70% as being marginal. One of the things that we find is that roughly 80% of the farms that we're following here have a debt to asset ratio less than 40%. And so those are in really good positions, and they do have the ability to essentially leverage and deal with a couple down years. Roughly 16% of those farms are in that 40 to 70%. Certainly they're in a marginal perspective there. You're going to have to follow their liquidity. You're going to have to follow their income. And again, if they're in the top half of profitability, they will still probably be in pretty good shape over the next couple of years. Those above 70%, roughly 4% of Kansas farms are above that 70% level. Certainly that's in a vulnerable area. Certainly those farms do not have the wherewithal to take very many negative years without making major restructuring of their balance sheet, perhaps selling some assets to retire some debt. There, I think you really want to look at the liquidity position and again, the profitability. Hopefully those farms will be in the upper quartile with regards to profitability. From a liquidity perspective, farms are in pretty good shape in terms of essentially over the last couple years, farms have built their working capital. Basically, working capital is kind of a measure of the current liability or assets minus current liabilities. And so the more working capital they have, the better ability they have to make those payments, the better ability they have to do some of the financing of their operating expenses from their own operation, as opposed to using lender finance. And so that position has actually improved the last couple of years. The other thing that we talked a little bit about in the presentation was basically looking at interest rates. We just completed a survey of lenders. We did the survey in May after the pandemic started. And one of the things there is that there's a lot less expectations of increasing interest rates. And so I think we're going to be in a position of fairly good interest rates from a lender or from a borrower perspective. And so in some respects, I think that will help producers maybe to get the financing at a reasonable rate in order to help them through this difficult time.
Well, Dr. Featherstone, always great to catch up with you and your insights on what's going on in the ag finance world. So, and again, folks, some more information on these and other things, agmanager.info. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ken.
Dr. Alan Featherstone, the Department Head of Ag Economics at K-State, has been our guest. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The U.S. biodiesel industry, an innovation started by the soybean checkoff, continues to expand with the increasing demand for sustainable energy. The variety of biodiesel blends available at the pump and the growing popularity of biodiesel used for bioheat brings more opportunity to farmers. Biodiesel is an important and valuable product for today's soybean farmers. In 2019, 57% of U.S. feedstock for biodiesel production was soybean oil. 1 bushel of soybeans produces about 1.5 gallons of biodiesel with 48 pounds of soybean meal byproduct. As biodiesel production increases, soybean meal prices decrease, creating a symbiotic relationship between biodiesel producers and animal agriculture. The benefits of biodiesel extend beyond animal ag. There are substantial positive impacts of biodiesel on the U.S. economy and environment. For every 1 unit of fossil energy used in producing biodiesel, 5.5 units of renewable energy are produced. Biodiesel supports 64,000 American jobs and reduces life cycle greenhouse gases by 86%. Bioheat is a cleaner burning alternative to heating oil made by blending biodiesel and ultra-low sulfur heating oil. United Soybean Board has partnered with Clean Cities Coalition initiatives that require use of bioheat blends in large cities like New York and Boston. This environmentally friendly heating alternative lowers emissions and has the potential to decrease the use of regular heating oil per household by 16 gallons every year, saving resources and money. For more information about bioheat, visit mybioheat.com.
When your college career begins, you'll have the opportunity to build upon your skills. One of those opportunities could be joining a collegiate Farm Bureau chapter. With programs at 19 2- and 4-year schools around the state, you can't go far without the possibility of joining a chapter. They provide opportunities to meet new friends and mentors, build leadership skills, and experience statewide events and gain eligibility for scholarships. Want to learn more? Visit www.kfb.org/collegiate.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Agriculture producers have faced significant challenges in recent years, resulting in an increased focus on mental health issues in the agriculture community. Over the last few months, the impact of the pandemic has only added to the fear and anxiety, with increased health concerns and threats to financial resources. Last fall, the Kansas Department of Agriculture worked with several Kansas ag partners to create a new website to provide resources and support to those dealing with ag-related stress. The website can be found at kansasagstress.org. This site serves as a clearinghouse for many services and resources that are currently available to address the challenges that Kansas farmers, ranchers, and their families face in today's ag industry. Over the last few months, we've added some resources specific to responding to the COVID-19 crisis, including how to locate options for teletherapy, which has expanded considerably as individuals need assistance they can access without in-person visits. KansasAgStress.org features local and national resources and support for issues ranging from stress management to financial and legal challenges, with sections to serve every member of the family, from teens to aging adults, and even from military veterans in agriculture. As more tools are developed and the needs of the ag community change, this website continues to be updated so it can serve as a hub of current information and resources. Don't overlook the importance of caring for your own health and wellness in this high-stress profession and in these challenging circumstances. Together with our partners, the Kansas Department of Agriculture has made it a priority to provide support and assistance to Kansans battling ag-related stress and mental health concerns. And we hope that this website at kansasagstress.org will be a positive resource for people struggling during difficult times.
No one plans to get sick or injured, but when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Steers and heifers owned by Arndt Farms near Emporia were the winners of the Grand Awards at the Flint Hills Beef Fest. The awards are based on the best combined finish in the Grass Futurity and Livestocker Show. The winning entries from Arndt Farms also won the Grass Futurity in their respective divisions. The pen of steers had an average daily gain of 2.35 pounds, with the heifers gaining 2.47 pounds per day. Anderson Ranch of Alma had the second place pen of 3 in the steer division of the Grass Futurity, with the cattle gaining 2.28 pounds per day. In the heifer Grass Futurity, second place went to cattle entered by Don and Carol Hahn of Fall River that gained 2.44 pounds per day. Ryan Louie of Leroy had the champion pen of 3 in the steer division of the Livestocker Show. Leffler Farms near Americus owned the second place pen of steers. Cattle entered by Wesley Cahoon and Lee Glanville of Cottonwood Falls won the heifer division of the Livestocker Show. Second place was a pen of heifers owned by Lazy S Ranch of Matfield Green. A total of 111 steers and 102 heifers competed in the Beef Fest Grass Futurity and Livestock Show.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Good morning, folks. Colette here with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. We are right around the corner from harvest, and the markets have continued to move higher. Beans are trading in the highest levels since January. Corn is up over $3.50, and Kansas City wheat is up over $5 again this week. China has continued to buy corn and beans both as we've moved through a few different weather-related headlines that ultimately brought crop conditions down. The good to excellent rating continues to decline in corn and beans both, actually. The report on the 11th will hopefully give producers insight on the effects of the derecho in Iowa and the hot and dry August that most of the Midwest faced. The cattle market has moved $5 to $10 off of the recent highs we've seen, and the dollar continues to break. We are at the lowest level in over 2 years in the dollar. The next few months will be key for markets as we get into harvest and the election, and there's no telling when we'll see the end of COVID as of yet. As schools ramp back up and we get closer to the cooler temps of fall, we have to wait and see. As we've seen so far this year, there's no telling what will affect the market or how, so it's important to position yourself in a way that you can take advantage of market moves. Give us a call at 888-452-8751 and see how we can help you utilize the different tools available to you and be prepared for whatever the market may bring this fall. I'm Colette at Pinion. Have a great day.
Well, that's our show this week. You can be social with us by going online at kansasagreport.net. Like us on Facebook at Kansas Ag Report Television Show. Follow us on Twitter at Kansas Ag Report. It's Labor Day weekend. Thank you, farmers, ranchers, mechanics, builders, machinists, retailers, technicians, and everyone who puts in a good day's work. Thank you for being a cog that keeps this great country moving. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.